The title of today's story is The Ugly Duckling, so let's start the story. It was summer season. It was evening when a duck was looking for a safe place on the bank of the lake so that she could lay her eggs there. After a lot of searching, he chose his place under a tree and laid 5 eggs there. When he looked at the eggs carefully, he found that one of them looked different from the rest. Seeing this, she became a little worried, but she thought it would be best to wait until the eggs hatch. A few days later, one morning, small and cute ducklings came out of her 4 eggs. They were all very beautiful and playful. The duck was very happy to see those 4 children. But the 5th egg was still the same. Seeing this, the duck thought, "This egg is the most special. Perhaps the most beautiful baby will emerge from it. That is why it is taking so much time." After a few more days, the 5th egg also hatched. A baby came out of it, but the duck was shocked to see it. This child looked much bigger and ugly than the other children. His complexion was pale, and his behavior was also different from other children. Seeing this, the mother duck became sad. She hoped that perhaps in a few days, this child would also become as beautiful as her sibling. Days passed, but the child remained ugly. Because of his ugliness, his brothers and sisters started making fun of him. They teased him and were never ready to play with him. The poor ugly duckling started living alone and sad. He realized that even in his family no one liked him. One day, he saw his reflection in the lake. He became even sadder after seeing his shadow. He thought, "I am so ugly. Even my family hates me. Maybe, if I leave them, they will all be happy." Thinking this, he decided to leave his house. He set out towards the forest. But living in the forest was also not easy. Winters had started. Snow had started falling and there was nothing to eat or drink. Shivering with cold, he thought of finding food and shelter from somewhere. He approached a duck family and asked for help. But there too he was made fun of for his ugliness and was sent away. With a sad heart he approached a hen, but the hen also chased him away by pecking him. While going some distance, he met a dog. He thought that the dog would eat him, but the dog took one look at him and went away without paying any attention. The duckling became even sadder. He thought, "I am so ugly that even a dog considered me unfit to eat. Will my life always be so worthless and miserable?" He decided to return to the forest once again. On the way he met a farmer. The farmer saw him and took pity on him and took him to his home. He got rest for a few days at the farmer's house, but there were no less difficulties there. There was a cat living in the house which troubled him all the time. Eventually he also left the farmer's house and went to live in the forest again. Winter was over and spring had arrived. Now the duckling had grown up. One day he was strolling along the riverbank. He suddenly saw some beautiful flamingos there. He was mesmerized by her beauty. He thought, "I wish I were so beautiful. But I am an ugly duckling. These beautiful flamingos will never accept me." Thinking this, he bowed his head in shame. But then his eyes fell on his reflection in the water. He saw that he was no longer an ugly duckling. He had also become a beautiful flamingo. He realized his true identity. He understood that he was never a duck. He had always been a swan but had not been able to understand his identity. As soon as he realized this, all his sadness disappeared. He gathered courage and went to the other flamingos. They all smiled at him and included him in their group. He felt that he was no longer alone. He has got both his family and his identity. After a short time he married a beautiful female flamingo. Now that flamingo was happy and satisfied in his life. He thought about his past and remembered all the difficulties he had faced. But now he had understood that a person can achieve his true identity and happiness only by facing difficulties in life. So friends, we learn from this story that sometimes we do not understand our identity and our strength. We should recognize our own characteristics instead of comparing ourselves to others. Difficulties in life make us stronger and make us realize our true identity. When the right time comes, everyone can recognize their virtues and leave their sorrows behind.